Welcome to part 4 of the Clash of Worlds. Now we're going to talk about the Vikings. Typically, when we talk about first European contact, we want to start talking about Christopher Columbus, right? But we got to at least start by talking about the Vikings because the Vikings are going to be there first, right? Now, the Vikings had been the terror of Europe from about 700 CE to about 1000 CE, going all the way around and even into the Mediterranean Sea, right? Raiding, establishing colonies in some cases. Matter of fact, there's Viking words that have made it into the English language as a result of this. The word kiosk, for example, is a Viking word. Why that one managed to stay in there, I have no idea, but there you have it. Okay. But these were also seafaring people, so they began also to go out into the Atlantic Ocean. So Vikings will establish colonies in places like Iceland and Greenland, and then they'll name them wrong, right? And then finally, Leif Erikson, and around the year 1000, is going to set up a colony on the north coast of the island of Newfoundland, right? And he'll stay there for several seasons. He'll call it Vinland because of the wild grapes that were growing in the area at the time he first arrived there. Okay, but for the longest time, we've had this documented evidence that the Vikings had found effectively the New World and had interacted with the peoples there. But it'll be a little bit later before we get some archaeology to back this up. In the 1960s, remains of a Viking settlement was found in northern Newfoundland, right? Longhouses were found. And so that corroborated the writings that existed that said that they had gone this far to the west, right? They had interacted with the Native Americans there. As a matter of fact, there was a term they used for them. They called them Skrælings, right? And we can assume, of course, that that interaction probably had some kind of impact or consequences, but when we take a look at it, they never made permanent settlements, and this is why we end up focusing on Columbus and not just the Vikings. The thing you have to remember about history is that history is about consequences. And if the event is not consequential, it is not historic. It goes away, right? The Vikings were there, and that's notable and significant that they were there, but they didn't have a lasting impact. They didn't profoundly change the world. When Columbus arrives, that's going to be a different story. So Columbus gets a lot more billing for that reason. Not because he was first, but because he'll fundamentally change both hemispheres.